There are literally thousands of us, hundreds of thousands of us that are working to make the world a better place on this topic. And I get to do my own little part of that.
I'm John Starr, advisor at Thorn.
I'm Paylez Halai, senior manager of partnerships at Thorn.
And this is Safe Space.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're really lucky with the time period in which we are building AI at Anthropic, because we're able to take on a lot of the challenges that social media had over the past few decades and the lessons learned from those challenges, and kind of start from the get-go building upon that knowledge that was acquired over those years. And so I think that that makes us lucky in terms of having a starting place that is just more robust than what some of these platforms, some of these companies had to begin with when they were founded. So we've been really conscious of thinking, what are the lessons from there that we can pull and design into our, products and our safety stack from the get-go. At the same time, it's been really interesting to me, the differences in working between the two. I think I was surprised by just how different these products are. So some of the things that have struck me are social media tends to be really public. It's a lot about sharing. It's a lot about interacting with others in the world. When you transition to generative I think for the past few years, and this is changing, but for the past few years, a lot of the interactions were very private. It was a single person and, a LLM talking to each other. And that's just a very different kind of scope of conversation and expectations that folks have. I think that, so we've been kind of learning about what are the things that are a harm that can occur, or a benefit that can occur in a private space versus something when it's shared, peer-to-peer or human to human. I think the other thing that's really a challenge in the generative AI space is that its capabilities are growing so rapidly. And so, as an example, just within the past year, there's been so much growth in agentic uses, which are really okay, you've got generative AI interacting with a computer system. What do you do there? What are the new challenges that emerge? And we do a lot of robust red teaming and safety by design, but you're never going to be able to capture 100% of the use cases, especially for a new technology that people are going to use it for or that are going to pop out of the woodwork. And so I think that it is a challenging space just to understand how do we keep up with the development of how people are using a completely new way of interacting with the universe.
Yeah, I think that in a nutshell is really the biggest challenge, right? It's so new. And I like the way that you framed it in that, we don't know everything. We are building in safety from the start. We're trying to take the learnings from the last couple of decades of technology development, but also recognizing the need to pivot and evolve and develop those practices. I think it's really important to call that out. That it's not a set it and forget it safety initiative. It's ongoing, and it requires accountability as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you always need to not just launch and forget or set and forget, but really that's where I think having a robust plan for what is my post-launch monitoring? What are the data and metrics that I'm going to pay attention to? What are the research questions that now that I'm seeing this trial out in the real world, I can answer, is really important. And so one of the cool things that we did at Anthropic is we had a team that built in a very privacy preserving observation system for different data. And so we're able to see what are some of the topics that clusters of users are asking about, or how are they using it in a way that's really clustering and privacy preserving, but understanding from the ground up, what is actually naturally emerging in this use case space, rather than assuming from the top down that oh yeah, I know that some folks are going to go shopping, so we should monitor for shopping, right? So I think that just having that kind of curiosity of spirit and building the tools that enable you to have that observability are really crucial for making sure that you can continue to understand how you need to evolve your safety approach.
Ryn, I have to say it's always a pleasure talking to a Florida State alum. Go Noles. Thank you so much for being here today, for sharing about your journey and experience. Really, your dedication and focus around being curious, really understanding complexity, and really trying to build foundational practices in from the beginning, I think really resonate with a strong trust and safety mindset. So thank you for all that you do. And to all of those trust and safety pros out in the trenches right now working, we see you. And until next time, thanks a lot, Ryn.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
This is just part of the conversation with Ryn Linthicum. You can catch highlights and the full Safe Space episode right here.